few months ago, I stumbled across this also from 1927. There's a poem attributed to B.J. Palmer called The Truth that I found out, interestingly enough, was not written by B.J., and it originally wasn't called The Truth. It was called The Chiropractor's Creed, in a book titled Chiropractic Thoughts by then President of Texas Chiropractic College, Dr. James Drain. And Dr. Drain said that the original author was a Dr. J.G. Gregerson, and B.J. borrowed it and renamed it, and to this day is credited with it. Let me read it to you. It says that we chiropractors work with the subtle substance of the soul. We release the prisoned impulse, the tiny rivulet of force that animates from the mind and flows over the nerves to the cells and stirs them into life. We deal with the magic power that transforms common food into living, loving, thinking clay and robes the earth with beauty and use the scents of the flowers with the glory of the air. In the dim distance long ago, when the sun first bowed to the morning star, this power spoke and there was life. It quickened the slime of the seas and the dust of the earth, drove the cells to union with its fellows in countless living forms. Through eons of time, it finned the fish and winged the bird and fanged the beast. Endlessly it worked, evolving its form until it produced the crowning glory of them all. With tireless energy, it blows the bubble of each individual life and then silently, relentlessly dissolves the form and absorbs the spirit back into itself again. And you ask, can chiropractic cure appendicitis or the flu? Have you more faith in the knife or a spoonful of medicine than the power that animates the world? About 5 or 6 months ago in my newsletter, Secrets to the Practice of Your Dreams, I wrote this article I'd like to just share with you that's so apropos to today's presentation. The article is called, Does Your Practice Measure Up to D.D. Palmer's Practice? Let me set the scenario for you. In 1902, 7 short years after the birth of chiropractic, D.D. Palmer was practicing his science, art, and philosophy in Davenport, Iowa. He had a private practice with one adjusting room. Private practice had a very different meaning for D.D. Palmer back then. You see, there were less than 100 chiropractors in the entire world. Less than 1% of the population had ever heard the word chiropractic, and far, far less had any understanding of who we are or what we do. In 1902, ladies and gentlemen, D.D. practiced in rural Iowa in a sparsely populated area in the middle of farmlands. This was really private practice. He was alone and he was isolated. However, Dr. Palmer had a burning purpose and a burning vision. He was consumed with this burning desire to share his discovery with the world, in spite of the fact that there were no laws governing the practice of chiropractic, and what he was doing was, in fact, against the law. You should be aware of the fact that D.D. Palmer did go to jail for practicing medicine without a license, so that you and I can practice with freedom today. In 1902, in this one-room small office with 2 flat adjusting benches, D.D. Palmer delivered 11,389 adjustments on patients. Yes, you heard that correctly. D.D. Palmer averaged 219 patient visits in a week at a time when he was swimming upstream as a single doctor, caring for people in a way that was illegal and unheard of. By the way, D.D. was seeing 219 visits a week 99 years ago and practicing part-time because he was still president of the Palmer School. So with all this going against him, why was Dr. Palmer adjusting far more people every week back in 1902 than the average chiropractor adjusts today? You see, the average chiropractor adjusts less than 100 patient visits a week, and everyone alive knows what chiropractic is. Everyone knows that it's legal, recognized, and woven into the fabric of our society. We have the luxury of modern media, modern communication systems, and modern equipment. There are thousands of us, and we have tons of research validating what we do. Is your practice today bigger than Dee Dee's was in 1902? And if not, when will you commit to taking it over the top? Do you think his practice was insurance dependent? He didn't have the benefit of an x-ray machine or a subluxation station. He didn't benefit from Bill Stebb's phenomenal patient literature, neuropatholators, or the chiropractic clipping service. See, what I'm trying to drive home is that you have every benefit, every luxury, and every convenience imaginable to create the practice of your dreams. There has never been a better time to be a chiropractor. It's time to step up and play large and recognize that good enough no longer is. It's time to raise our entire profession up and do whatever is necessary to truly serve the people of the world who are literally dying to get adjusted. Puts it into context, doesn't it? As I conclude, I want to share one other story with you. It's what I like to refer to as the donkey story. There was a farmer who one day heard squealing coming from the well, the water well. And he looked down the well, and to his shock and amazement, one of his donkeys had fallen in. And he tried to figure out a way to get the donkey out. But he didn't know what to do. He couldn't get the donkey out. It was too big, too large. The well was too deep. And after hearing this donkey scream and cry, he realized after a while that the only salvation was to call some of his neighbors over and to have each and every one of them have a shovel and to slowly throw dirt into the well and to bury the donkey. And as the neighbors came over, they started to shovel the dirt in and shovel more in and shovel yet more in. And with each drop of dirt, the donkey cried hideously and screamed. And their hearts were just ripping out of their chests. But they knew it was the best way to put it out of its misery. And all of a sudden, after about 10 or 15 minutes of this going on, all of them were just crying. The donkey stopped, and they assumed that they had buried it. And they kept pouring in dirt, shoveling in dirt. And at some point, the farmer looked into the well, and he saw something that just totally shocked him. With each shovel of dirt that landed on the back of the donkey shook it off and stepped up. And they continued to throw dirt in. The donkey continued to shake it off and continued to step up until they got it high enough, and the donkey literally walked out of the well. And what's the moral of this story? America had dirt thrown on it, and it shook it off and stepped up. It did a phenomenal job. You know what happened as a positive, because there's always good and bad? You know what happened? We reprioritized our life, didn't we? We recognized that family is the most important thing to us. We realized that our country is important and that the sanctity of the human spirit is essential. And people showed up big. They rose to the occasion. Circumstance made them. Circumstances exposed us. We shook it off and we stepped up. And as I get ready to conclude with you, I'm asking us as a profession to shake it off and step up. Let's get over the immaturity of circling the wagons and firing in on each other. Let's start celebrating all we have in common instead of pointing out the little bit that we don't. Let's recognize that there is strength in diversity. And let's honor each other as brother and sister, as one family, and take chiropractic to the next level to serve humanity and to become the healthcare system of choice.